talk about one of the biggest headaches that a lot of beginner developers have, and honestly, I've still had issues with it too, and I'm sure even more experienced developers have too. I always see people tweeting, how do you center a div? And it's always a big joke because, CSS can be kind of rough sometimes. So we're going to go over today how to center a div. So you see right here, I just have a basic text. I haven't added any CSS or anything. So the most basic thing you can do if you want things to be centered, this is not going to work in all cases, of course, is text align center. And look, everything's centered, but I haven't done any styling to the actual div. Center. So let's just go ahead. Oh, I don't know why I'm putting div. Let's go ahead and give this a red background. Alright, and you see it stretches the whole page. But I want to put a width on this div. I don't want it to take up the whole page. So let's put a width of, let's say 50%. Okay. But now watch what happens. Now it's not centered anymore. So it's like, oh no, what the hell? Everything's broken. My life is over. Let's figure it out. Okay, so the most basic thing you can do, this is like, when I first found out about this, it was like magic, is margin 0. So it's going to put a margin of 0 on the top and bottom, and auto on the sides. Now we save, and voila. It stays in the center even when you're resizing the screen and everything. It's like magic. But say I don't want it to be just centered horizontally. I want it to be centered vertically as well. So there's another method we can use to do that. So I'm going to give my box a little bit of a height. So I'm going to say 300 pixels. Okay. So that just did that. So now the text is not in the center. So we want, or it's not centered, would that be vertically or horizontally? So let's figure that out. So I'm going to put a display flex. Flex is another magical CSS thing that changes your life. So now we can do align items center, and that's going to put it centered vertically. But now look, when we did the display flex, it's not centered horizontally anymore, or I don't even know. That confuses me still. Okay, align items. So now we do justify content center, and voila, everything's centered. But now I want this whole div to be centered on the actual page. So how do I do that? We're going to go to the body. I'm going to put display flex. And the key here is I'm going to give the body a height of 100 VH. But generally you shouldn't be doing this on the body, but since I don't have any other things, other sections, I'm just going to do it here. So I'm giving a height of 100 VH. So VH stands for the viewport. So that's going to be how tall your viewport is. So display flex 100, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to have align items center. And voila, everything is centered perfectly, and even when you resize it, it's going to stay centered. So I noticed like what a lot of beginners do, or at least what I did, is I was using position relative and position absolute. So my whole website would be breaking like every 5 seconds, or when I would change the size of my browser. And it was really frustrating, and I wanted to bang my head on the keyboard and give up coding, but I'm still here a year later, coding strong. So you can get over past the CSS hump. I'm really proud of myself for coming this far and successfully learning how to center a div. I feel like a master now, and I hope this lesson helped you guys. All right, thanks for watching.